So I'll be the first to admit, I'm not some regular viewer of boys' love, but I am I guess you could say in general, a newer fan of romance. So when I went to watch this one with one of my viewers in my Discord server, which you should totally join, I didn't really have much, if any, expectations regarding this anime. I knew it was a romance, but I also knew it was about music, which is something I have a vested interest in, as I am a somewhat amateur musician. And by the end of it, I walked away not only impressed, but also incredibly saddened that we had killed this show off on our weekly podcast about seasonal anime called the King of Anime Podcast. Given, by far, is one of the best of the best, if not the best romance anime of the year, and a surefire contender for anime of the year. So let's get into the video, and thank you for joining me on the first day of the 12 days of anime. Stick to the end. Given is about Mafuyu, who carries around a cherry red Gibson ES-339 with very rusty strings and with no knowledge of playing the instrument. But when the timid and meek Mafuyu meets Ritsuka Uenoyama, an immediate bond forms between the two. But Mafuyu's troubled and tragic past has kept him from being a little happy. But Ritsuka may just be able to let Mafuyu ease his mind. This is Given. Given is based off the manga of the same name by Natsuki Kizu, which started publishing in 2013. The anime is directed by Hikaru Yamaguchi, who has directed Esha-Kran, and will also be directing the upcoming Given sequel, The Given Movie. As well, Lurch is producing the animation. The anime is available on Crunchyroll and Verve, and is just 11 episodes in length. And like I said before, I am a newer fan to romance and anime, but this to me immediately got my attention. The romance really cannot be understated here in the anime. It's simply one of the better ones from this year I've seen. And really that comes down to how well it's crafted, because it all comes off very naturally, and at times you won't expect it to go to the lengths it really does. Typically, anime has the issue where they say they're a romance anime, but they never actually show the romance in the anime itself. They just go to the confession or the kiss scene, and we never see any sort of relationship actually develop. Worokoi is an example of an anime that bucks that trend, and we see their relationship beyond a timid confession. Given, I would say, is somewhat a combination of those two in many ways. This is an anime where my aforementioned example is perfected. While I just said I hated anime that don't go further, I also think there are exceptions to everything, and Given is one of those exceptions. Given takes its characters and explores them on a granular level, or as granular as an anime can get. Mafuyu is a perfect example of this, as sometimes the journey is more important than the destination of true love. It's obvious to me this anime wants to take things slower, and so the way it goes about it is to simply dive into every single one of these characters in their lives, developing them as many ways as they possibly can do in just 11 episodes. This is why I believe Given is one of the best anime of the year. 11 episodes was a perfect length to tell this story, and you can easily get in and get out quickly despite the slow first 2 episodes. As for the musical aspects of Given, I found they were fairly accurate. In particular, the grand performance in this series is one of those YouTube top 10 anime-worthy moments. It's full of heart, quality writing, and hit me like a punch to the gut. I never expected a boys love anime to get to me like it did, but Given's performance in this scene is one of the most memorable moments in anime for me just in general right now. Based off this one scene alone, this anime is a great anime, and I mean that. I'm kicking myself every time I didn't watch the anime sooner. It's that good. And beyond that, I would say that if you're a musician, there are things you'll be able to appreciate here. Like, for example, buying used gear as new gear is marked up to insane rates. Also, the amplifier and instruments are branded with legit brands like Marshall amplifiers, Fender Telecaster, Gibson ES-339 hollow bodies, Fender basses, precision basses to be exact, etc. Given's attention to detail doesn't just go to the story and its character. As for the characters of Given, this is where the story shines quite a bit. Mafuyu is one of my favorite characters in anime this year because of how incredible his backstory is developed. I was honestly impressed what they were able to do with his character in just a measly 11 episodes. I loved how little and small details like the way he acts, his timid demeanor, and innocent nature are all really developed beyond just what he looks and acts like. No character in this anime is treated as an afterthought and are developed tremendously well. Mafuyu takes the cake out of all of them though because his story is so integral to the plot. Why does he carry around this guitar? Why does he look so gloomy, and why is he so darn adorable when he's so incredibly sad? Mafuyu is really an incredible character, and his story is one that I hope you won't forget, as it's really powerful. Ritsuka, our main love interest for Mafuyu, and vice versa, and our main second character is also a really great character, but not near as much as Mafuyu, but that doesn't mean he's bad. He simply, or for that matter, anyone in this anime never gets to the level of Mafuyu. But like I said, Ritsuka is important because he is the vehicle of change that Mafuyu needs, and not only that, he is the catalyst for Mafuyu's character development. Plus, Ritsuka is simply a great romance for Mafuyu. A lot of the times, romance anime force two characters together that don't have chemistry, or simply because they want them to be together. Well, Ritsuka and Mafuyu is a couple you want to see get together at the end and are actively rooting for. This is because Ritsuka is a really good character that is really well developed and written. One of my favorite moments in this show is when Ritsuka asks if it's weird to like a dude, to which he is told, "Of course not. I don't know why. I just like that scene." As for the secondary and supporting characters, I think a lot of them never feel forgotten, but fly under the radar sometimes. In particular, Ugetsu Murata and Ritsuka's sister, who are just sort of there sometimes. Though it's not like they're bad characters. As for Haruki Nakayama and Akihito Kaji, there's some mighty fine supporting characters, and they're integral to the story and even have their own hints of story arcs in here. This is something I would love to see in the film, is these two be explored a little bit more. They're fun characters, so why not? Lurch, to me, isn't exactly a studio known for fantastic visuals, but they are a proven studio that has worked on anime like Assassination Classroom and the recent Kanata no Astra, which, in my opinion, is an example of making the most out of not much when it came to production and visuals. As for Given, it's a little bit on the simple side. It's not got aliens, nor is it a sprawling space odyssey, but what it is a romance anime, and so, well, yeah, I think you get where I'm going here. Given isn't exactly about art, as it's about the presentation and tone sometimes. And through that, Given excels and pretty much perfects the tone that they are going for. In turn, this creates a pretty beautiful anime with top-notch visuals and great art direction. A great example of this are the backgrounds, which give off an immense sense of atmosphere and familiarity. Ritsuka's home, as an example, is simple, but lit very well and has a certain glow and shine to it, which gives the tone of a much more mellow and more homely atmosphere. Character designs are pretty solid as well. Nothing I'd write home about. Mafuyu is an adorable puppy. That's a big plus. Each character has a charm and uniqueness to him. Mafuyu's innocence, Ritsuka's cool look and determination, Haruki's ponytail and chilled out personality, and Akihiko, who is obviously a drummer. I mean, come on. That's a drummer. And if I've never seen one before, that's still a drummer. Overall, Given's art is exceptional. It doesn't at all feel generic or even like Lurch's past works. It retains its own identity and looks spectacular. Animation-wise, the show is actually pretty accurate with performances, especially for the drums. I don't know, anime always makes the drums look weird, and I never understood it. In theory, it should be very easy to get right, but oftentimes it just looks really ugly and not accurate. Well, my friends, Given goes where only a handful have gone, and the drums are animated really well. As for the instruments, it's a little more complicated because stringed instruments are a pain to animate, so they try to get around it with smoke and mirrors. But even then, they're pretty well done, honestly. Maybe not something I would tout as much as the drums being animated as well, but the guitars are seemingly as accurate as a hand-drawn animation could be. Also, the CGI in this anime is top-notch, and on par with some of the better CGI anime that I've seen. It's almost impossible to notice at times. But as for the character expressions and other animations, Mafuyu once again takes the cake. While he's the most tragic of characters, he's just look at this guy. He's so expressive. And this is a trend. The characters are fairly expressive in their own right, and their emotions, and thus are animated really well. I didn't ever notice an emotion or facial expression which didn't belong to that certain character. It was all animated and done really well in that sense. But while none of us really watched romance anime for the top-notch animation, Given sorta has a lot of top-notch animation. It's really strange, but I can see an argument to watch this for animation, though I'm not going to make that argument. That would be a very hard argument to make. Here we go. The score in this anime produced by Michiru, who you probably know more for her music on Kokoro, that terrible anime Zeta the Last Witch as well. But her score in this anime is solid though. I do have qualms and at the same time praising for the performances. I felt that outside of the musical performances, the music performed is just sort of generic. It's a small issue, but it just sort of felt like generic anime rock music. And as for the main big performance, the scene was so good that this is the reason I am doing this review. Overall, solid score with a lot of emotion and feeling. Given is one of the best anime this year, and there is a reason why. Everything in this anime is so beautifully crafted to almost perfection. It's yet another anime this year that floored me when I had no expectations for it. The romance is one of the best this year. The music is awesome, the characters are amazing, and the production is really well done. While this is labeled as a boys' love, which I think is unfair to some extent based off the connotation people seem to give that genre, which is stupid, I think this is just a really damn good romance anime that should be a staple of the genre itself. It's real, it's raw, and it will have you floored if you simply keep your mind open and willing to accept what story it's trying to tell. I absolutely recommend Given to every single person watching this video. It's that good. And with that, the first 12 days of Anime Day video is done. I would like to urge you all to go out, follow the 12 Days of Anime Twitter, follow BB's World on Twitter as well. Look out for some 12 Days of Anime videos. Just type into your search box 12 Days of Anime and sort by the newest in the last week or the day or so, because there are some great content creators, and I will be doing the same. Every time this year, I watch as many 12 Days of Anime videos as I possibly can in a day because I love discovering new anime creators, even though many people will know I don't watch much anime videos or just YouTube videos in general, but I try to when I can to get caught up on stuff, and I've met plenty of awesome people through the 12 Days of Anime. So I urge you all to go out there, find some people through the 12 Days of Anime. It's a big event every year. It's not just something that happens on my channel. This is a community event for a lot of these smaller and to even sometimes bigger creators here on YouTube. So please go out there, check them out. Do that over anything else. I promise it'll be you will not regret it. So, with that being said, if you haven't already, make sure to like this video, subscribe and ring the bell, comment down below what your thoughts are on Given. I know that I have a Patreon where on the $1 tier and above you can access everything and get a whole bunch of stuff early. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.